Good morning, everybody. I am Jimmy, your astute tourist. It is Wednesday, Hump Day, September 11th, 2024. I wanted to take this opportunity to kind of do somewhat of a special show today. Normally, we do our crazy hijinks and we laugh and crack jokes and that, but today is somewhat. I don't want to make it somber, but I just want to make sure that we never forget about the things that have transpired on this date back in 2001. So I got a couple of friends I want to bring up, of course. First, my brother from another mother, my partner, Fordman Kenneth Oakes is here. Hello, Kenny.
Hey, how are you, Jimmy?
Good morning to you, my brother. How are you?
I'm doing very well. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. How about we bring Sean up? He's here with us too. Good morning, Sean. Or good evening to you.
G'day. Welcome aboard. Nice to have you guys. Nice to see you all. How are we all?
Thank you for joining us this morning on this special day. You know, it's a day that I hate to use the word celebrate, but we memorialize and not forget the events that transpired on this day. Gosh, was it 23 years ago?
No, Jimmy, let me correct you if I may.
Yes.
I do want to say celebrate. I want to celebrate all the heroes that were involved.
Absolutely. You know,
and with that in mind,
well, let's do that. So today's going to be a good day, no matter what they say. But let's post a cheer to those that have lost their life and given the ultimate sacrifice on that day. 343 firefighters, along with 3,000 souls on the planes and in those buildings. So God bless them, and may they rest in peace.
Them and all their families.
So yeah, it's a crazy day today. I don't want to get into politics. I never do on my channel. So for those of you in the chat, please let's just keep the conspiracy theories and those things just out of the chat. So, but
you took away my biggest discussion point.
Yeah, I know. Let's we're going to go through this quickly, and then I want to just we'll sit here and we'll do some talking. So, good morning to Sharon. It's good to see you. I hope you're having fun with the Flint that you were given. I sent a couple of my original songs to Sharon, and thank you, Sharon. Apparently, she can't stop listening. So, especially the first song. Thank you, my friend. Good morning to Scott. Scott is here. Good morning, my friend. I hope you're doing. I don't even have to play the sound cut. You guys do it pretty well. So good morning, Scott. It's good to see you. John Gaylor is here. Good morning, John. Good morning to the.
Oh no, you don't have one for him.
Good morning to the Down Under Cruisers, and to Helping Hands for Cruising is here. Our good friend Law Jones is here as well. Susanna is here. Let's continue to go. Joe Hupp is here. Good evening, Joe. He's multitasking at the moment.
Oh boy, he's in trouble.
Kenny is the multitasking king, so
yeah,
he can be in like 3 different live streams at one time, plus do his laundry, pet trouser cat. He could do it all
as long as he leaves it with trouser cat, and that's about it.
Right. Carol Walters is here. Good morning, Carol. Thank you for coming in. Halfwit is here. Good morning, Halfwit. Good to see you.
G'day, Halfwit. How you going, buddy?
Daniel Jose is here. Good morning, sir.
G'day, Daniel. How you going, buddy?
Joining us. Our favorite nurse, our morning co-host, Denise. Denise is here. Denise is working this morning, so I always send her the link. I was a little late with it. I didn't send it to her till this morning, but she's like, yeah, I'm working. I'm like, okay. So did I see? I did. Chet is here. Sea Leg Journeys. Happy Wednesday to you. Good morning, Chet, to you and Robin. I hope you're all are well there. Let's see. I think we're caught up. Oh, Amy is here from Cruise.
G'day, Amy. How you going?
Good evening to you, my friend.
Actually, Amy, I need to have a discussion with you at some point.
John says no CME today, so they won't be going live, apparently. But right. Aaron Smith is here. Good morning, Aaron. Thank you for coming in, my friend. Aaron. All right, and then we're all caught up. So, like I said, I did want to talk about today and what today this date represents. Kenny, I'm going to ask you a question. You don't have to answer it.
Yes.
What year were you born?
I was born in 94, September 27th, 1994.
So 94. So you were 7 in 2001. Do you remember anything of that day? I mean, you were old enough, you could probably remember. Do you remember anything of the event?
I do not remember any of that, to be honest.
And I'm not surprised. I wouldn't expect somebody at that age to really be hip and up on current events and that. So that's not a surprise. But
I don't even remember where I was at that time.
Right. It's funny because when I was a kid growing up, and Sean, you can probably attest to the same thing, hearing my grandparents talk and my parents talk about where they were when Pearl Harbor was bombed. They remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
And then another event was the assassination of President Kennedy here in this country. People can remember where they were, what they were doing, things like that. And it's no different for a lot of us for the events of 9/11. Amy says that she was 12. She remembers
She was
hearing
in year
about
12, final year of school.
Oh, year 12. Gotcha. So you were like 18 then. Gotcha. How about you, Sean? Where were you when you first heard about the doings here in the United States?
I was actually driving an American Airlines crew. I was driving limos at the time, and I had an American Airlines crew to pick up from the airport to take them to the hotel. And they were talking about it.
It was on the radio?
It was on the radio. It was on.
What time of day was that for you?
Well, it happened through the night. So the crew were actually en route, and we'd heard about it the night before. And when they hit Melbourne, we picked them up at the airport, and that's when they told all their passengers.
Gotcha. Yeah, it was. I think, it happened here in the U.S., but I think it affected most normal, and when I say normal people, anybody that has a conscience throughout the world,
Well,
at least the
changed
free
the world.
It really did change everything.
Yep, changed the world.
Halfwit says, I remember that day. I didn't go to my mechanic course at Polytechnic until lunch. Everyone there didn't believe me until the next day. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was, I'll tell my story. I was working that day. I had just, I was a lieutenant on the fire department, a different fire department than the one I work at now. And, it was a day like any other day. Went to work, and I was actually on the telephone. It's funny how you can remember what exactly you were doing. I was my union president at the time, so I was on the phone with another union president from another fire department, and we were discussing some business. And when one of my subordinate firefighters came into the office and said, "Hey, Lou, I think there's something you need to see." So I cordially hung up, and we went into the training room where the big TVs are. And I saw one of the towers with smoke coming from it. And we were all in shock. What the heck? We didn't know if just a private plane by some mistake had crashed into it. I think most people throughout the world were in shock and awe of what had happened. And as we stood there and we watched the events unfold, we saw the second plane hit the second tower. And then we knew right away that something really, really bad was happening in our country. And so like many of us who were awake or were aware of what was happening, the TVs were on. We didn't get much work done that day. It hits hard for somebody like me as a firefighter because there's a term within the fire service that we use loosely when all the smart people or the sane people are running away from the building on fire, the crazy people are the one running into it. But
The other thing is, you guys are a family, and when one of your own gets hurt, you will feel it. So the number of fireys that were actually going in and getting injured and actually dying and losing their lives certainly made a great impact on all fireys everywhere around the world.
So Aaron is asking a very good question. He said, Jimmy, did you or your unit go to New York City to help? So once the authorities within New York City figured out exactly that it was a terrorist attack, and they immediately closed the city. There were firefighters from all over the country rushing to go there, including some of my brothers and sisters that I worked with at my fire department at the time. I did not go because they kept telling us not to go. You're not going to get into the city. They closed all the bridges from all the boroughs leading into Manhattan. You can't get into the city. Now, with that said, some of my fellow firefighters that I worked with every day, they actually made it there and got in and were on the pile digging there, and they were there for days. I don't regret not going. I kind of wished I was there just because that's what we do and we want to help. But, there were other things that we had to stay home to protect our community as well. We didn't know what was going on. We didn't know if Boston was going to get hit next, or LA, or Seattle. I mean, there was a lot happening. The towers, not only did the towers get hit, but a plane crashed into the Pentagon as well. There was a lot going on that day. It was, for most of us that remember it, it was a crazy day.
Well, for us as well. I mean, it was crazy enough. For whatever happened in the U.S., it shut down our airports for at least 24 hours. So our guys were shut down.
Same here. The two planes that crashed into the towers, I'm not sure about the third one. They may have all originated from Boston, which is not far from me. In fact, I was telling Sean before we came up live. So let me back up a little bit. So we're going to be cutting we'll be cutting our live stream a little bit short today. We'll finish up maybe 15 minutes early because of the nature of my job. And we have a memorial service at my fire station this morning, so I need to be there for that. But Sean and I were talking before we came up live, and in the town that I work in, there's a woman that comes to our memorial service every year. She's been to every one since 9/11. And she comes with her children, and she comes with her new husband, because at the time her husband was on one of the planes that crashed into the towers and was killed that day. So this woman and her children live in the town. They were living in the town and live in the town that I work in. So it hits even closer to home for us when we do the memorial, because here is this person who was directly connected to what happened. So Joe says he was 16. Oh, go ahead, Sean. Go ahead.
Just quickly. G'day, Peter. How you going?
Hi, Pete. Joe says, I was 16 at the time. Mom saw it on TV the night before. My brother and I woke up and saw it on TV. My brother's first question, is this real? Mom's reply, yes, it is. And Joe, I think we all kind of had that question in the beginning. I know I did. We're looking at it, when I get called in and the smoke was coming out of that first tower. It was surreal. We didn't know what to think. My first thought was, because years ago in the 40s or 50s, a small plane had crashed into the Empire State Building, but it was an accident, I think. But this wasn't an accident, clearly. And
it was planned.
Absolutely planned to see. I just wanted to say hi to Pete that Sean just did, but yeah, absolutely planned. And us for watching it was the events were surreal all day, because we're watching firefighters run into the building. We're watching people jump out from 1,100 feet of buildings.
The thing that got us the most was not so much the fact that the planes flew in. It was the fact that the buildings just disintegrated.
They did. And not only did those buildings, I mean, we know they fell, but there were several other buildings that collapsed as a result of fires in that day. There were buildings next to it, or next to the two towers. I can remember going there. They had just about had the pile cleaned up, and the site was there. There's a firehouse right next to the towers at the time, and forgive me, but I believe it was Ladder 10. I believe it was a small firehouse, 2-base firehouse. And I can remember going to I actually had a gig in Greenwich Village, and my singer and I are both firefighters. We went to the site, and
oh, we lost Jimmy. I was just looking through the chat there. G'day, Deb and Matt. Nice to have you on board. We are on the show with Jimmy from The Astute Tourist. Right now, we're doing a bit of a memorial or memory of 9/11. It did take place a little while ago, as we all know, 20 odd years ago. And so we're all thinking about those people and wondering where people were at the time of the planes hitting the World Trade Centers.
So forgive me. As you can see, it's 23 years later. It's still very emotional for me.
Mate, we're all here together, you know. Everybody's had some sort of effect from it, and I'll tell you what, we'll never get over it. There are things that are going on. I mean, right now, for us, we've got family members that are in firing lines at the moment, which don't change much. And, you know, things happen, people do things, and it's those that are out on the outer that have to suffer the consequences. So I'm with you, Jimmy.
Thanks. All right, let me gain my composure. Yeah, so you can see for many of us, including myself, it can be hit a little harder at home. What I think about are the families of the 3,300 plus people that died that day. You know, there's evil people around the world, and we're not going to get I don't want to get political here. And Aaron mentioned something. I don't want to get into conspiracy theories or anything like that, because I do have my opinions like everybody else. But what I want to do is I want to make sure that we never forget what happened that day. Correct. Regardless of how you feel things happened, people still died.
Yeah.
And it affected many people around the world. So
let me say this then. For those that were involved in the rescues, from the Australian side, we want to thank you all for your service. We know it wasn't easy. And we know that there are a lot of people today that are also still going through a whole lot of negative stuff from it. And so, again, we thank everyone who had something to do with the assistance of getting those people out. We thank them for their service.
A lot of the first responders suffer from some sort of syndrome they think is from the dust and the asbestos and things that were when the buildings collapse, and firefighters are dying today as a result of that day. It's kind of like I attribute it to like Vietnam veterans that got hit with Agent Orange, and then it kills them years later.
they say that some of the effects of the downing of those buildings was because of the construction. So,
I'm hearing a siren. Hold on a minute. I'm not kidding. It's like in my yard.
Are there any flashing lights?
Vehicle fire. Oh, that's why. There's a car on fire on a road right behind my house. Okay. Hopefully everybody will stay safe and the brothers and sisters stay safe. So I'd like to try to finish what I was saying. So I went to the city to do a gig in a band I was in. And like I said, the singer of the band and I are both firefighters. We went there and we stood in front of the big giant hole in the ground. I couldn't believe the size of the hole and the amount of debris. But there was I think it was ladder 10 or truck 10. So forgive me for those of you who know exactly, I forget. All I can remember is seeing that firehouse and all the lights were out. And the building was covered in dust. You couldn't see through the windows. It was everything looked black. It looked dead. It just was awful. And the reason I bring that up is because every firehouse that was assigned to that firehouse were killed that day. Every one. Even the off-duty guys that came in after the fact, they all died in that. So you could see the impact it would have on all of us. But, you know, being a firefighter, it hits closer to home because, again, the sane people are running out and us crazy bastards are running into these things. And,
tell me, Jimmy, is that fire station still operating?
I don't know. I think so. But I don't know. So I was there a few times after. The second time I went, they were still cleaning up, and then they had black and purple bunting hanging from the station, which signifies, you know, death, memorializing the members of that station. And then I went another time when the memorial was built where the Affinity Pond is. And very humbling. It was an awful thing that happened that day. And like I said, it hits home. So Nick says, just Googled it, searched New York City, did rebuild ladder 10 after September 11th. So
awesome.
There's the answer to your question. It's still there, which I would hope that they would. I would hate to see them take it down. So
and doing something like that just points out that there's the proverbial finger to the people who actually planned that act. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The proverbial double whammy to all of the hateful assholes in the world.
Correct.
Sorry for the curse words and the middle fingers, but we had to do it. So, yeah, so it affects us all. I know we all have stories where we were when we heard about it, the effects of it, the theories after the fact, and things like that. I try to stay out of that. PMA is the term of the day. It is every day, and we try to just pass on our positive thoughts and prayers and things. So instead of trying to feed into the negative part of it, there's enough negativity in the world right now, and we don't need to continue feeding that.
Absolutely. One thing quickly, I need to say good day to Eric B. He's in the chat. And
Eric is here. I'm sorry,
he's
Eric.
here.
Missed you, buddy.
He jumped on my channel earlier on. And Kenneth Bird, g'day, mate. How you going? And Ringo and Zai, welcome aboard.
Ringo's there. Thank you, Sean.
Say hello, Kenneth Bird, Ringo, and Czar, and
Eric. I'm going to try to find Eric here. Oh, there he is. Hey, Eric, what is happening? Good to see you, my friend. Haven't had you over here in a while. Good to see you. And Pete is here too.
Yeah, we said g'day to Peter. It's Cruise Life. G'day, mate. How you going?
How do you feel all these years later? Well, I think you kind of saw how I feel. Muslims as a whole got a bad rap for a few extremists that carried out these attacks. You know, there's bad people in every groups of people.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think that most of the inhabitants of this planet are good people.
I'd agree with that.
There's always, so you know how I talk about, and Kenny and Sean, you know how I talk about PMA, right? And there's positive energy, there's negative energy, and positive's the good, negative's the bad. Well, it's that way in life. It's yin and yang, it's white and black, it's light and dark, it's good and evil, it's the force, it's the dark side, it's all of that. Unfortunately, I don't think you can have one without the other, but if everybody on the planet thought the same and accepted a positive energy and live that way every day, who knows, it may keep the negative stuff at bay, and it could keep us all, in some harmony and balance throughout the world. But without getting too deep, I don't know if that'll ever happen, because there's just too many evil people that want to cause harm. So
I want to say good morning to Roger Donovan.
Hey, Roger is here.
How you doing, buddy?
Cousin Roger is here. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for coming in. Extremely Loud, Incredibly Close was a hell of a film about 9/11. Yeah, there's a couple of them out there. There's one that really is pretty bad, because he was a French filmmaker, and he just happened to be there in the city, and I think he was doing another film. And when he heard what had happened, he felt the need, which I think I'm glad he did, to be able to document what had happened. But he was actually inside one of the towers when stuff was going on, and he was in, I guess, a lobby, and there was like this glass atrium that was there. It almost looked like a glass greenhouse or something. And you could hear wham and glass breaking. And he's in there filming, and there's chaos, and people are running out, and firefighters are running in. And then again, you'd hear wham, and you'd hear glass break. That was the sound of the people hitting the glass that were jumping out of the building, because they would rather die from a fall than burn to death. And I've seen that not personally a lot in my career, but it's something that we've learned about a lot in my career as a firefighter, that people will rather jump to their death than to burn to death. Pretty sad, and it brings it closer to home,
Yeah.
I don't think I saw that. J.E.J. Who is that? Also did a fine job of playing himself. I'm sorry, Aaron. Who is that? Denise, too many people have forgotten. They should listen to the song "Have You Forgotten" by Daryl Worley. Good song. Yeah. I didn't really want to make this a sad day, but again, I don't want to forget. And I think, the fact that it touches me emotionally still to this day, shows the impact of the events of that day. So
what I'm going to say is, we look at things now and we have a bit of down feeling because of the circumstances. But I also want to say there were a bucket load of good things that came out of that, because what happened was you got a country like America that became really, really strong, and went in there and taught a bunch of people a lesson. And it just strengthens. I mean, the fact that it happened, there is positive in everything, as you go. But yes, there is the negative concept that a lot of close friends and people lost their lives. But what did we learn from it? What did we learn from it?
I don't think we've learned a damn thing.
I actually think we've learned a lot, because security on aircraft has certainly become a lot better.
Well, it has, but we shouldn't have to have security on airplanes, and I know.
Agreed.
And it's a good thing. I mean, look at the things that happened after. There was the guy with the shoe bomb, and then the other guy that had his underpants were made of explosives. And it sounds funny, but no, here was this guy wearing a pair of underpants that was a bomb, and he got on a plane. So,
yeah, we call that budgie smugglers. No,
right?
sorry.
The bad things bring out bad people and people that want to copycat and all of that. It's just awful.
Agreed.
And I guess when I said we didn't really learn anything, I meant more about like diplomacy and that, because look at what's happening. And again, I want to focus on politics, but just open your eyes and look around the world. I mean, people are still killing each other and, eating their pets and whatever that's going on. It's terrible. We live in a very, very, unhospitable world right now. And, it sounds like a cliche, but everybody just needs a big hug, man.
Yeah, agreed.
The Australians have a beat. I never waited more than a minute to get through Australian security at their airports. Can't say the same thing about TSA here in the USA. Yeah, that is nasty. Now, Kenny and I were talking on Monday about TSA pre-check, and that can help you get through it quickly. But I don't know. That was you and I, Kenny, I think, right? Weren't we talking about that?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about TSA pre-check, about how much easier it is than the regular TSA.
Hang on, my experience with TSA is rather interesting, because when we were in Miami getting on the cruise ship to go out on our cruise, Kenny, the TSA were asking us if we had your
budgie smugglers?
No, I wish it was the budgie smugglers, but they were asking whether we had our visas to leave. I'm going, what? We're leaving the country. We're coming back.
We just got here.
Correct.
We don't want to leave yet. We just got here.
Correct.
Nick says, I'm heading to the airport this morning, dropping my mother off for a flight to Montana. I fly out 2 weeks from tomorrow for Las Vegas. That's right. You got to press your later hosen, because you're heading out there, right, Nick?
It's going to loosen it up.
Good for you, buddy. Yeah, he'll have to loosen it up before he leaves after drinking all that beer.
Yeah, correct.
So there you go. As long as it's not that awful F word.
Shut up.
Exactly.
Shut up.
Kenny did it. Kenny, I'll tell you something right now. It does not make your tongue slap your brain, that beer.
No.
Kenny, you don't drink anyway. Have you ever
No.
Have you ever had the taste of alcohol on your lips, Kenny?
Nope.
Never.
Mm-mm.
That's probably a good thing. Although
I've actually
I'm not going to say anything.
I've actually seen what it does to people when they've had too many. So
I'm not saying anything.
Because that, yeah.
You're right. You're not saying anything. It is, though. Oscar Mike Golf.
That's Thirsty Thursday right there. So
Pete makes a really good comment there. He says the worst possible event still can't break the human spirit.
Well, and exactly, Peter. Think about the people again. So we think about firefighters, right? And I just speak because I'm related to that. But there are plenty of human beings on this planet that are always willing to jump in and help. I see it on when we go to motor vehicle crashes. There are people coming out of the woodwork jumping in to help. They just want to help, and that is exactly what I think you're talking about, Pete, is that human spirit
Correct.
Is there.
Correct.
For every evil person, there's got to be a myriad of awesome human beings that just want to take care of their fellow man,
G'day, Shaz. How you going, Sharon?
Chet.
No one said it, Chet. No one said it. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, Kenny did. Mongrel.
All right, let's get off this Foster's talk. Yeah, in the United States has used the whole situation to take away rights from people. It was originally for good cause, but it has gone wrong here. Again, John, you're right. We'll leave that for another day. That topic. There are a lot. There are a lot of theories, a lot of things behind 9/11, and the further we get away from it, the more people are analyzing videos and things like that. But I don't want to get into that. I want to make sure that we don't forget about the 3,300 plus people that lost their lives that day, and we can't forget. It's just like Pearl Harbor.
G'day, Bonnie. How you going?
Imagine that it was just like what my grandparents thought of Pearl Harbor. They didn't have television back then. I don't know. I know it happened in Hawaii during the day, but I don't know what the time was here in the U.S. and especially on the East Coast where my family are from. But it was probably, I think in Hawaii, it happened around 11 noontime-ish, maybe. I think people were in church. It was on a Sunday. So that would probably be put the time on the East Coast, I don't know, 8 hours maybe. So it was probably evening. So I don't even know if they heard it until the next day because, there was no internet or anything back then. They couldn't just.
And that's probably why there was no internet, no TV. That's probably why there was a baby boomer thing going on. Oh, sorry.
Right? Well, that's true. That's true. So, but all they had was radio. So they were waking up or listening late at night to people like Walter Winchell or whoever. This is, John Smith from CBS New York. And we're getting reports that the Japanese have just bombed Pearl Harbor. I can't imagine what the people thought, except about that morning of 9/11. It had to be something similar for those people. So,
yep.
Tragic day, and God bless all those souls that have
and thank God for the heroes.
Yeah, and there were a lot of heroes that day. For me, I talk about the firefighters, but there are people that are still alive that were heroes that day. People that were running in and grabbing people and pulling them into buildings just as those towers went down, and that rush of dust and debris. We've all seen the videos of these poor people on the street, and you can see the ones that got caught, and they had just inches of dust stuck on them. These people just looked like gray, like they just come out of like an ash pit. I don't know. And there were so many heroes that day helping the injured, and like I said, pulling these people and getting them out of the debris field. And again, like Pete said, it's a testament to the human spirit. There are just really good people on Earth, and I hope we continually we're surrounded by these types of people in our lives. So.
Agreed.
I've never been to Hawaii. Have you been to Hawaii, Sean?
Nah.
Kenny, I'm assuming you've never been to Hawaii either, right?
I've never been to Hawaii. Angie and Rick, Family Adventures.
Hey, Angie, how are you?
Good, Angie. How you going?
Angie, hey, right?
Yeah.
Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for coming in.
Hey.
And for
visuals. Sorry, Angie. I'm stirring.
They would have had to wait for the newsreels to be printed up, right? Yeah, I mean, they had radio, but I'm not sure how far. Could they actually hear the radio from Hawaii into like California? I don't know. But you're absolutely right. People, their TV was the movie theater. They went and saw the newsreels. Telegram. So, I'm sure they found out pretty quickly for the day, but it was nothing like, for us where we find out about things as quickly as at the speed of light. So Bonnie Bubba says, I had a few relatives that had to walk across the bridge from Manhattan to Brooklyn covered in ash. Yeah. I can't imagine the security issues that they had in the beginning too, because for them, they didn't know what was happening. At first it's like, oh no, just some rogue plane out of nowhere just crashing into a building. But then once they figured out that it was some bad actors, they closed the island down. And I don't know if anybody's ever been to Manhattan or if you've ever seen it, but it's a big place. It's a very big island. and there's the only way to get there is through bridges and tunnels, and they shut all the bridges down. They shut the tunnels down. Nobody could get in. Nobody could get out. The only people they were letting in were police officers and firefighters, and then, military and things like that. So crazy.
G'day, buddy. How you going, buddy?
Military raidman got the word out about the bombing. Yep. Good morning, buddy. Thank you for coming in, buddy. It's good to see you.
2 minutes to go, Jimmy.
Yeah. So, I thank everybody for coming in. I'm going to get going. Like I said, I have some important business I need to attend to this morning. I appreciate you guys humbling me and letting me do this today. It's a somber subject. It's not always the best, and you can tell that for me it still hits home. So I appreciate that. Thank you to all of you guys that are here this morning. Don't forget to let me do some business. Don't forget to hit the like button, share us out. Channel jumping is important. There's one thing that I do want to talk about really quick that has nothing to do with our subject today, but that is, whoop, I'm in the wrong thing. Scott is teaching me very well. I got to go up here. Become a member today and be eligible to win our September giveaway. This month, we'll be giving away one of those 2 prizes you see there. Who knows? Maybe we'll give out 2. Maybe 2 members will win. One is a set of wireless earbuds. The other is wireless lavalier microphone. You can use it for your telephone. I think that one is geared for phones more, or iPads. So that's exciting, but you can't win unless you're a member. So sign up today, become a member of the Astute team, and you will be eligible, and your name will automatically put into the drawing. So there you go. A little business, but like I said, I want to thank everybody for coming in today. Let's do some PMA. Don't forget PMA, everybody, especially today, but today and every day. Make sure that you employ PMA in your life. I am living proof that it works. I am here today as in part by employing a PMA, positive mental attitude, into my life. Let's make a difference in people's lives today and every day. All you have to do is make eye contact and smile at somebody. We all have stories, and sometimes those stories are not the best. So you can change somebody's outlook for the day just by smiling and saying a kind word, shaking a hand, or giving them a hug. Today, especially today, but every day. Thank a first responder. Again, these are the crazies that are running into the danger when most of us sane people are running away. So, you know who they are.
Yep.
And our nurses as well. We love our nurses.
Yep.
Thank you, Denise, and all our other nurses out there. We love you and thank you. And then, last but not least, the veterans, past, present, and future. They're out there every day. They're fighting and working selflessly to make sure that we're protected. They protect our liberties, our freedoms, and keep us all safe. So I hold them in very high regard, and they're protecting my flag, your flag, for every country in the free world. So I salute them. God bless you guys and gals. God bless our flags and our countries, and God bless America. God bless Kenny, Sean, myself, and all of you in the chat.
Thanks,
Thank you, mate.
likewise.
All right, guys. Sean, what do you got coming up?
Friday night, for those across the pond, at midday, our time on Saturday. Ilana, the lovely princess in my life, queen in my life, and I will hopefully be doing our normal stream. So there you go.
Right on. How about you, Kenny? What's coming up for you, sir?
Just Friday morning cup of Joe live at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes, sir. We do. Kenny and I will be up Friday morning. Will you be doing Friday Night Live with friends, Kenny?
Not this Friday night, no.
Okay, so no, and that's right. We talked about that Monday. Tomorrow night is Thursday at 7 p.m. EST. Join Captain Controversy and myself for Thirsty Thursday trivia. Win all kinds of prizes. Have a lot of fun. We'll introduce a new cocktail every week, and we just have a great time. I do want to say hi to Brandon for coming in.
Hello,
Good
my
night,
friend.
Brandon.
Thank you for dropping in. And then Friday, Kenny mentioned we'll be up live for Cup of Joe Friday, free for all Friday. And then I will be on location again, Kenny, on Monday. So this will be the second weekend of our 4 weekends away. It actually worked pretty good on Monday. It was a little wonky, but it was better than I expected with the signals. So join us there. But I hope to see everybody tomorrow night for Thirsty Thursday. I think that's going to do it for all of us. What do we say, Kenny?
Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, we'll do it all again Friday morning, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace and love.
Peace and love is right. All right. Thank you, guys. Kenny, love you. Sean, thanks. I love you as well. I love all of you in the chat. We're going to get out of here. Bye-bye. Never forget. Never forget.
Get the back.